Hey, welcome back. In this video, we're going to look at some common and useful string methods. So let's check that out. Now, the first thing I want to introduce to you is the upper and lower string method. And what I'm going to do here is I've got some junk left over from the last video, so I'm just going to clear this. And we'll even reset the memory, I guess. Reset. Yeah. Okay. All right, so I'm going to just define a string, and I'm going to say spam equals, and then we'll do hello, comma, world, exclamation point, like that. And what I'm going to do then is call the string method upper. And if you remember from our previous discussion on methods when we looked at list methods, the syntax for a method, I'll write it over here, syntax method in the editor, was that we're going to put the variable and then we're going to dot with the method, and then we can even send that method some inputs in parentheses. So I'm gonna stick with that syntax. So I'm gonna say spam dot lower, and I'm not gonna give it any inputs. I'm just gonna hit spam dot lower, see what it returns, and you see it converted all of the alpha characters to alphabetical characters to lowercase. So we've got the capital H is now lowercase, and the capital W is now lowercase w. Now I want to point out that this does not act in place. So if I look at spam right now, you see it's still capital H, capital W. So what I have to do is, if I want to convert it to all lowercase, I would have to say spam equals spam dot lower, like this, and I'll hit enter. And now if we look at spam, you see spam has been rewritten or overwritten as lowercase now. And the reason you have to do that is because strings are immutable. So in order to change the string from uppercase to lowercase, you have to reassign it so that it gets a new place in memory. This was different than what we saw with lists, because lists are mutable, so they can be modified right in the same memory location, and so you would not reassign the list like this. That just calling a list dot method acts on the list directly. All right, but we can also say something like spam dot upper. Right, if we do spam dot upper, then everything is uppercase. And again, if I look at it, it's still the original string. So I would have to say spam equals spam dot upper. Okay, like that. And then if I look at spam, now it's uppercase. So you get a sense of what upper and lower methods are doing there, and they return strings again. So this is useful if you were to write a program that should be case insensitive. Like email addresses are usually case insensitive. So somewhere in an email, email program, there's something that is converting the email address that you enter in to either lower or upper. So I'm going to give you a sense of how you could use this here. So I'm going to clear this thing, and then we'll say print how are you, maybe, and then, or actually, you know what? Let me write a program. So I'm just gonna come over here and delete this. So we'll say print how are you, and then we'll also say we'll ask for an input. So maybe we'll say feeling equals input. So we'll get that input from the user. We'll store it as feeling, and then maybe we want to test. Oops, no colon. Maybe we want to test if the user is feeling great. But the case shouldn't matter. So we can say if feeling, so feeling would be a string here, and we'll say lower, or we could use upper, but we'll convert everything to lowercase. If feeling dot lower equals, and then now that we're sure that it's all lowercase, we can test it right against great, lowercase like that. We'll print something like I feel great too, right? Else, we might print something like I hope the rest of your day is good. Something like that. Okay. So now let's check this out in action. We'll save it and I'll run it. And it says, "How are you?" And I'm going to input G, capital R, and then EAT. And then it says, "I feel great too," right? And we can run it again. We can input like all caps, great. And it says, "I feel great too." I'll run it again. We can input like all lowercase. I feel great too. Input it again, and maybe I'll input something like good, and it says, "I hope the rest of your day is good." Okay, or I can input something like bad, and it says, "I hope the rest of your day is good." So now we're checking for great, but the case of great does not matter. And you see, we need this feeling.lower because if we did not have that in our program, like if we just tested feeling against lowercase great, I'll save that and I'll run it. Then if I type great in all caps, or at least one cap, then this is not true, and so it prints the else. I hope the rest of your day is good, right? Because the cases matter when you're using this Boolean expression here. All right, so that is how we could use upper or lower, and then we can use is upper and is lower. These are two more common methods. So let me clear this. So I have this string spam in memory already. I can say spam dot is upper, and I'm not going to give it any inputs. And if I say is upper, then that returns true. And you can see if I do spam is lower, that will return false. So what these two guys are doing is for example, is upper will return true if spam contains at least one letter and all of the letters are uppercase. So spam is all uppercase, so it returns true. And is lower will return true if spam contains at least one letter and all of the letters are lowercase. So that's not true here, so that's false. So if we said something like spam hello world, like this, okay, and we did spam is upper, it's going to return false here because not all of the letters are uppercase, and spam.lower will also return false because spam.isLower is what I meant. Spam.isLower will also return false because not all of the letters are lowercase. So that's good, and that can help us if we need it. And we can also, because spam.lower returns a string, right? We can say spam.lower.isLower. That will, of course, I think I need parentheses there. That will return true because what we're doing is we're taking spam and we're converting it to all lowercase, and then we're asking, is that lowercase? So that will be true. And spam.upper is upper. This will return true as well because we're taking spam and then we are making it all uppercase, and then we're asking it, is it uppercase? And it says, yeah, true. All right, I'm going to clear this, give myself some space. And I just want to introduce a couple more methods to you that start with the word is. And whenever something in programming starts with the word is, it usually returns a Boolean variable like true, false. So there is, let me just comment over here. So so far we looked at upper and lower, and we looked at is upper and is lower. So another one I want to look at is alpha. Is alpha returns true if the string consists of of letters and isn't blank. So, for example, here's spam, remember? And we can say spam dot is alpha, okay, like this. And it returns false because it does not consist of only letters. There's a comma and there's an exclamation point. Now if I had like eggs equals hello, something like this, and I did eggs dot is alpha, then this would return true because eggs has only letters, alphabet characters, right? Alpha. And then there's also, of course, I'll write it over here, there's is L num. So this is alphanumeric. So this returns true if the string consists of only letters and numbers and is not blank. So maybe we had bacon equals um, hello 1 2 3. Okay, so bacon dot is L num. That returns true because bacon is alphanumeric. It's got alphabet characters, right, and it's got numerical characters. But see, bacon dot is alpha will be false because of the numerical characters there. Eggs dot is L num. Okay, that's going to be true because it consists of letters and numbers, in this case just letters. Okay, so you can get the idea there. There's also is des is decimal. Okay, is decimal. So this checks just to see if our string only has numbers and is not blank. So bacon, for example, bacon dot is decimal will return false because of the hello part of the 1 2 3. But if we did bacon, if we just took out the 1 2 3, that would be 0 1 2 3 4, so 5 through the end. This is going to return true because that's bacon 5 to the end. Index 5 is the 1, so this is bacon 5 to the end is decimal true. That's the 1 2 3 part of the string. So that will return true. There's also, and I'll let you just tinker around with these, there's also is space that you should be aware of. And this returns true if the string consists of only spaces, tabs, and new lines. This one is useful for detecting these like breaks in thoughts or parsing sentences. There's also is title, which is interesting. This checks for title case, and it returns true if the string consists of only of words that begin with an uppercase letter followed by lowercase letters, like you would write in a title. For example, spam equals the best book ever. Okay, and so if I need I need strings around that. Apostrophes, quotes. Okay, so the best book ever, and so I'm going to say spam.title is title, enter, and that returns true because that would be like the case of a title of a book. But if I looked at bacon, or how about eggs, where eggs is like just this lowercase hello, if we did eggs dot is title, this would return false. Yeah, and there it is. Okay, now I'm going to give you another example of how we can use this. I'm just going to delete this in my editor, and we'll cheat a little bit. We'll say while true. So this will be an infinite while loop. So we'll need a break case, and we'll say we'll prompt the user for an age, and we'll say age is equal to input. Enter your age, like this. Okay. Now we'll say if age dot is decimal. So remember, is decimal returns true if everything that was entered is numerical. So age dot is decimal. So if that's true, then we're going to break out of this while loop. But otherwise, or else, um, I guess we don't need an else. Like if it's not true, then we're just going to keep prompting the user to input his or her age, and then we'll at the end of this loop we'll say print please enter a number for your age. Okay. So yeah, so the way this would work is while true, so it's always going to loop until it breaks. We're going to say enter your age, and if the person enters a valid age, like a number, then this if statement will be true, and the while loop will break, and then we'll never see this print statement. But if the user inputs an age that's not numerical, then the if statement will be false, and we won't break out of the loop, and we'll print please enter a number for your age, and then it'll come back up and it'll say enter your age. And we'll test that shortly. And then we can say something like this. We can enter another while loop. How about we'll cheat a little bit, while true, and we'll say input, no, we'll ask for a password. Password equals input. And how about select a new password, and maybe this password, this is kind of old school a little bit, but maybe this password can be only can be letters and numbers. So we'll say letters and numbers only. That used to be the case. Now it's not like that. Of course, we can have all sorts of characters in our passwords these days. But then we'll test for this also. So we'll say if password dot is num, alpha and numeric, right? Alphabet or numerical. Then we'll just break out of this loop. Simple as that. Otherwise, and then we'll say print, how about passwords can only have letters and numbers. Okay, something like this. Right, so this is good. And I'll clear everything. I'll reset. Start fresh. Okay. And then I'm just going to save this, Control S, and we'll run it so we can check this out. All right, so enter your age, and I'll say I'll say Marty, right, which is not valid. And I'll say please enter a number for your age. Enter your age. So you can see the first while loop, doing its thing here. So then I'll enter like 30. And then, okay, so the while loop breaks, and it says, now it goes on to the next while loop. Select a new password. So we'll say it can only be letters and numbers, but we'll try the loop. We'll see if it works correctly. So I'll say, how about P, the @ symbol, SSWORD, like this. And it says passwords can only have letters and numbers. So you see the @ symbol does not work for us. So select a new password, letters and numbers only, and we'll try password 123, right? And it goes through and it breaks the loop, and so we're done. The program exits, right? All right, so I think that's all the methods that I want to cover for today for this video, and there's still many more, so we're going to look at those in the next video. Thank you.